There have been a lot of impressive things that MJ has accomplished throughout his career, but one of the things that I personally think was the most impressive was something that a lot of basketball fans don't even know he did. With that being said, no matter how many times you hear the name Michael Jordan, you know it's warranted simply because he's the greatest of all time. Kinda like the greatest game of all time, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid's got a ton of champions, over 600 now. All of those champions come from unique factions, each with their own history in the world of Teleria. And my favorite faction is the High Elves. Their backstory is pretty awesome. Their homeland, Aravia, has been around for thousands of years, surviving the fall of the Lizardmen Empire, helped the humans form into civilizations, and defeated the orcs when they formed a huge horde and attacked the continent. But then things got twisted when Sarath, the Lord of Darkness, convinced a bunch of elves to go evil and attack the kingdom. The Civil War nearly ended the elves, but Aravia survived, rebuilt, and now it's stronger than ever. Absolutely awesome. My favorite is the Marksman Elf, because nothing is quite as cool as an elf with precision aiming. This month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including Forge Pass Season 3 with some amazing rewards and offers, including a limited edition artifact set. If that's not enough, Raid's bringing out some new champions, along with some awesome looking champion skins for the incredible Madame Ceres. But wait, here's the big news. Raid just released a superpowered legendary version of everybody's favorite champion, Death Knight. The whole Raid community has been waiting for this for a long time, and Ultimate Death Knight is everything we hoped for. He's poised, he's powerful, he's perfect, and the best part is, everyone can get him for free just by logging in. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and October 27th, and you'll add Ultimate Death Knight to your collection easy. There's seriously never been a better time to get started, but there's more. You can also use DK Rise's promo code for a bunch of free items to instantly level your new strongest champion all the way to level 50, 5-star Ascension. And if you click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen, you'll get unique bonuses worth $30. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Many of the greatest players in the modern game operate as the team's floor general. They might not be listed as the point guard on the scouting report, but let's make no mistake, many of these superstars are controlling the offense as if they're the team's point. What this translates to is simply higher production and higher averages across the board. Typically, when a player is appointed as a point guard or as the team's floor general, his usage rate increases as he naturally becomes a more ball-dominant player. This is one of the main reasons why players like James Harden had their assist numbers dramatically increase after being moved to the point guard position. It wasn't that he all of a sudden became a great passer, but instead, it was the fact that the offense was now ran through him, which naturally boosted his numbers. As great and as record-shattering as Jordan's numbers were, for the most part, he never had this luxury working in his favor and boosting his numbers, like many other greats have. Well, that is with the small exception of the final quarter of the 1988-89 season. At the time, the Bulls had a 34-24 record and were looking to move up in the standings. The Bulls head coach Doug Hollins noticed how Jordan had been having a significant impact in numerous ways on the court, as he was putting up his best all-around numbers of his young career. This is when Collins decided to make a significant change that was pretty uncommon during that era. Collins moved the 6'6" Jordan from his usual shooting guard position to the point guard spot, as a way to pick up the tempo of the offense and allow Jordan to have more control over the game. What ensued was one of the most dominant individual stretches of NBA history. On the very first game against the Seattle Supersonics, Jordan firmly established himself as a distributor as he handed out a remarkable 15 assists. The very next game against the Indiana Pacers, Jordan had 21 points, 14 assists, and 14 rebounds in only 30 minutes of playing time due to a 32-point beatdown. He would have had a realistic shot at the historic 20-20-20 game if he had played his regular workload of minutes. Jordan remained at the point guard position for the final 24 games of the season, and in those games, he averaged 30.4 points, 9.2 rebounds, 10.7 assists, and 2.5 steals on 49.8% shooting. To go along with this ridiculous near triple-double average, Jordan had a streak of 7 straight triple-doubles and 10 triple-doubles in 11 games. In the game that Jordan didn't get a triple-double, he poured in 40 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds on 61.1% shooting. On another night, in a 15-point victory against the Blazers, Jordan dropped 34 points, 17 assists, 7 rebounds, and 6 steals on 50% shooting. Those 17 assists were his career high. This game against Portland was also the beginning of an incredible streak that I rarely hear anyone mention. Over a 12-game stretch, Jordan had at least 10 assists in every single contest. To put in perspective just how incredible that 12-game streak is, consider the fact that all-time great distributors and stat stuffers like Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Jason Kidd have never had a streak longer than MJ's of games with at least 10 assists. To put it simply, Michael Jordan wasn't just great at the point guard position, but he appeared to be playing like he was the greatest point guard of all time. This was just one end of the court though. Despite spending so much energy on offense as a point guard, Jordan still had the responsibility of locking down opposing perimeter players, and unlike players who use their offensive load as an excuse for their lack of defensive intensity, Jordan still brought it on the defensive end every single night. Not only was Jordan 3rd overall in steals per game, but he also finished that season on the NBA's first team all-defense. He was 5th overall in defensive win shares, 1st overall in defensive plus-minus, and finished that season in the 5th spot for the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan and the Bulls made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they were eliminated in 6 games by the bad boy Detroit Pistons. After yet another defeat at the hand of Detroit, Chicago's management decided that it was time to shake things up and fired Doug Collins from his head coaching position. He was replaced with the legendary Phil Jackson, and thus the triangle offense was implemented, and Jordan's days as a point guard were now behind him. Jordan's numbers at the point were utterly insane, but let's be honest, his numbers earlier that season, before he switched positions, were pretty nuts too. The major what-if question that this video raises is, what if Jordan had remained at the point guard position throughout his career? How would that have affected his career numbers? Well, at the very least, we can make an educated guess based on how Jordan's numbers adjusted during the 1989 season. You'll see that from his 57 games as the shooting guard to his 24 games as the point guard, his scoring decreased by about 9%. His rebounding increased by around 17%, and his assists dramatically increased by a whopping 35%. So now, if we take those same percentages and apply them to Jordan's career numbers, we're now looking at averages of 27.4 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game. What I can't help but notice is how Jordan's career numbers as a point guard are strikingly similar to another all-time great who consistently ran his offense like a quarterback, and that is LeBron James. With MJ's adjusted averages, their career numbers are now nearly identical to one another. Obviously, over time, this change in playstyle could have affected other aspects of Jordan's game, like an increase in turnovers, potentially more injuries due to his increased workload, and maybe he even wins less championships as a point guard rather than playing within the system of the triangle offense. It's impossible to say for sure, but at the very least, this perfectly summarizes how a player's perception, production, and impact can dramatically change with a simple switch of a position. So what do you guys think? If Jordan had remained at the point guard position, how would it have ultimately affected his career? Would we have been referring to him or Magic Johnson as the greatest point guard of all time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.